Hi, it's Shannon, the paleo counselor. Wanted to make a quick video today with some breath work so that you can heal yourself with from physical, mental health symptoms, or just from stress. We're going to take it way back. I'm going to do a 7-hour video. Just kidding. I'm going to take it way back just to explain where the paleo counselor name came from, where I'm going, and then do a short little exercise, and we'll wrap it up real fast here. So, Shannon Myers, I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor, a research fellow, and an adjunct professor training counselors and clinicians. I work as an integrative health provider and a life coach, along with being a consultant on all things integrative, as well as psychedelic integration. And I am one where paleo actually comes from the word ancient in Greece. And so the Paleolithic era is where 99% of our modern technology has come from. And so my intention with having a website called thepaleocounselor.com is to remind us that us human beings, are rhythmic beings in tune with nature. Today is a full moon, and you will see increases in mental health symptoms on full moons due to hormonal fluctuations as well as parasites. Always on full moons and the days leading up to full moons. I see that with my clients. So I am one where I do not diagnose individuals working with me. I use the polyvagal theory, and I'm trauma informed and remind individuals that I'm working with of their inner healers that have always been with them, which is the breath. So our breaths become shallow in times of stress, in times of trauma, in times of pregnancy. And for many of us, so 60% of individuals have endured some level of childhood trauma. And so many individuals maybe don't know how to breathe or have never, no one ever shows us how to breathe. Okay. So we may have to relearn how to breathe. And I wanted to show you that today and talk about who may be in need of remembering or relearning or having a refresher on how to breathe. The vagus nerve is called the healing nerve, and the vagus nerve starts in the base of the brain and it goes down into the stomach. This is part of your gut brain axis, and it is connected to all the nerves in between the brain and the stomach for digestion. The nervous system sits inside of the limbic system. The limbic system connects the brain to your nervous system and your stomach. And the other system that resides within the limbic system is the endocrine system. So your hormones, your thyroid, your adrenals, these are all connected. So I want to remind individuals of the bi-directional nature of health. So if you have a physical health condition such as chronic pain, you're going to have mental health symptoms, depression, anxiety, etc. And because you have depression or mental health symptoms, you're going to have pain. So the circle keeps going back around until there's a bug in the system. And the bug is the breath. The bug is your awareness and targeting that with something that is different to change that cycle of disease in the body, the homeostasis levels. So individuals that have vagus nerve opportunities are individuals that overwork, have high stress jobs, leaders, executives, individuals who drink or smoke often, individuals under high stress. That's all of us at times. Individuals managing anxiety, individuals that have a lack of sleep, new parents definitely fall in this boat. Individuals who do not exercise, the vagus nerve is very much stimulated by exercise, and too much exercise can also contribute. And then poor eating habits. Eating a standard American diet definitely impacts the vagus nerve. So in my practice, I always see conditions relating to the gut and the brain axis, and it's bi-directional. And so anything that's happening in the gut will impact the mood. And so I see small intestinal bacteria growth and all IBS and all kinds of symptoms that are housed in the gut that impact the mood. And so vagus nerve activity and reactivation also needs to be included in that as far as a healing strategy. So the number one free thing that you can do for yourself, the healing nerve in the body, is to activate the vagus nerve and spend time there. It's free. You have to breathe anyway to stay alive, so you may as well invest time there. This actually resets your nervous system and your rest and digest. And if you have had periods of trauma, childhood trauma, pregnancy, especially because you're and being pregnant, the child just kind of cuts off the diaphragm and those deep belly breathing, you may have to relearn how to breathe. And that is a real opportunity. And that's something that the medical model is not, there's no pill for this. You cannot take a pill or go to any level of therapy to learn how to breathe. This is something you're going to have to do on your own, but you have to breathe anyway. So you may as well. So I often start with this before meditation and yoga and all of these other healing practices. Start in the morning, start and end your day here, and then also check in during the day where your breath is at. You only have to start with 2 minutes. You can build up. So 2 minutes can be built up to 20 minutes twice a day. And it's very easy to do. With the vagus nerve, it's breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 2, and then breathing out for 6. And that's all you're doing, just to cycle that through for 2 minutes. And what this is doing is calming down your nervous system. I'm trying to say parasympathetic and nervous at the same time, because that's what I'm getting to. So it's calming that down. It's bringing forth that rest and digest. You are rebooting your internal limbic system. This is the reboot of how to heal yourself. And so anytime during the day where you're starting to feel heightened, you're starting to feel triggered, you're starting to feel overwhelmed, the breath is always available to you, and you can continue to practice this exercise. Sometimes with our phone and technology, you get overstimulated, and because of this, individuals with trauma, they will keep seeking that hit, seeking that overstimulation, because they're really trying to regulate themselves, and that's the only way that their brain is ever known to do that. But then that over stimulates someone. So you actually kind of need to take the car and reverse what you're doing. It's like you take it and you're like reversing and doing a U-turn. It's like, you're trying to seek something out there. You need to go in. It's a hard move. But once you start doing it, it's super easy, because it does feel good. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to show you. It's hard to watch a breath, but I'm going to try and narrate this the best I can. So you're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 2, and then breathe out down to the pelvic floor for 6. Breathe in for 4, hold for 2, and breathe out for 6. It is like a natural sedative. I'm already feeling calmer, and I just did 2 breaths. If you get into a situation where you're heightened and triggered and you're around people and it's going to take you a minute to get out, start doing that. And by the time you get to 3 breaths, it's the internal feel-good hormones will rise up, and neurotransmitters will rise up and be available for you. But you have to practice it to restart your system internally until it becomes natural for you. And so that can take 20 minutes, maybe a year or more, depending on the level of trauma. And it should be a lifelong practice, quite honestly. So this is my healing gift that is free to everyone that is watching. This, all of my followers. My work is really, really catching on. You got to have a sense of humor with this stuff when you're self-employed. And I know it's not for everyone. In 2020, I'm focusing on working. I have some packages on my website the www.thepaleocounselor.com, for individuals to work with me every other week for 6 months. In about 6 months, individuals are really moving forward in their goals. And with that, I have integrative health coaching, life coaching, and spiritual coaching, or psychedelic integration coaching. These modalities can be blended and braided together. That's where my work is different. I am truly an integrative practitioner, mind, body, spirit, and I get to the root, and trauma informed. And usually we start there. Otherwise, nothing else is going to work. And so if you've tried the functional medicine model and it's still not working, you've taken thousands of dollars worth of supplements, or you're wondering about that, talk with me. And so we can kind of form a provider network around you. The other thing that makes me different is that, or unique, is that I provide precision medicine panels to make sure that if you're on medication, taking the right ones genetically for you, because that can impact your mental health and your physical health and the results, as well as I case manage my clients. I do a lengthy intake, and the reason for that is that you don't need another plan out there, because if you're working with multiple providers, my role is to get the health records of those providers, and so I can look at your entire health situation and get a full picture. This helps save you time and money and stress. And quite honestly, the medical model can re-traumatize you by having to continually to do that. And I apologize in advance because of the intake process that you're having to tell your story over and over again. But it's truly so I can go and refer you to provide. I do that as well. I don't just say, oh, well, good luck. No, I'm going to find a provider for you that's trauma informed, that can work with you if that's what you're working on. So I'm looking to narrowly focus my practice more on that reproductive and retirement lifespan of female leaders. Typically work with nurses and therapists and practitioners and HR professionals and entrepreneurs and leaders and individuals that are taking care of large groups of people, and need to take a step back and work on their health. And so coaching really, really, really works well with female leaders, because they're used to being coached. They're open to being coached. And the way that I practice is very different. It's different outside of the medical model, where you pay and then you don't really know where you're going. It's very, this is where we're headed. What are we working on? Here's some things for you to do. Report back to me how that was. It's different. It's a blend. And it does work more with female leaders than your traditional medical model. So I'm going to focus more on that. So on the infertility, preconception, pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, and then dementia and brain health around that kind of that, and then sexual health planning. So teenage sexual health planning. Should I get on birth control or not? Or how do I balance my hormones and mood? And so working, at that 13, 14 age range. I've worked with little humans and definitely up until 100 years old, but that span right there really fits well with balancing what I'm talking about here, because your hormones reside within the endocrine system, the nervous system, and the limbic system are, my expertise and staying within that, and for your brain health, because I am becoming a certified mental health integrative medicine provider. So bringing holistic solutions to mental health too. There's no diagnosis here, which is sometimes needed for life insurance, and then also for individuals who just don't want to be labeled. All human beings exist within. We all have the same emotions. We all get nervous and paranoid and scared, and we all experience all of these things and kind of ride out some of these emotions. And so that's where the work that I do is very different, because I come from a trauma perspective, and learning to use the breath and more along those lines. For me, it's all part of the human experience. And so there's nothing wrong with you. You've gone through something and you've adapted to that. And now what do we do? How do we try on new behaviors? And what else exists outside of what you've tried. So usually individuals have tried the traditional medical model, but what else exists out there? And so that is where my work is a little bit different. And we're all here to be the unique expressions of who we really are. And so I'm really leaning into that. I appreciate you guys for watching these videos. I'm going to try to keep this shorter. Please share. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. Please try out this limbic system, or excuse me, this vagus nerve exercise, which is resided within the limbic system. Um, try it out and keep adding time to this. This is going to help you within heightened situations because you're going to start to, instead of having to have that fight, or freeze response, you're going to instinctually just know, I need to go back to my breath. Okay, that's what's available to me right now. And so if you've had experiences of dissociation or not kind of feeling out of it, this is a great place to start. uh, as far as if you've tried on other things, a way that you can practice the hard work that you're doing in real time, and give a gift back to your body. Your body wants to just breathe and get back into the natural rhythms of being a human. And that is where the paleo counselor whole thing, this whole brand, this whole trademark out there, that's where it really comes from. So yeah, hope this has been helpful. Thanks, guys. Bye.